welcome to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster. And today we are filming just a few days before this episode is going to come out. And I thought it would be a perfect time, since we are filming right on the cusp of this, to talk about this little phenomenon that's been happening for the last couple of years, but actually in reality for hundreds of years, which is halfway to Halloween. So as if you are part of the Halloween community, which you probably are if you're listening to this podcast, it's halfway to Halloween has really become like a big term, a buzzword, if you will. Specifically, I mean, Penny, I'll get your opinion on this too. I mean, I just remember really hearing this like the last 3 years, to this extent that people were like talking about halfway to Halloween all the time.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely, like the last couple of years, it seems like it's come up more and more often, and you see more people like actually, making art or doing projects that are like specifically for celebrating halfway to Halloween, or as I
Right.
like to call it, Halfoween.
Halloween, yes. And yeah, so we're seeing a lot of that on social media, and then obviously like through streaming services like Shudder. I think they kind of hopped on that and started really pushing that out. But I want to tap a bit more into like where it started, because there actually is a historical context to why we think of this as halfway to Halloween.
Ooh.
And we're gonna get a little bit witchy today, a little bit talking about some pagan stuff. So I am fairly new to this realm in the last like 3 or 4 years, so I will do my best. I've done quite a bit of research here to get all the facts right, but if you've been practicing for a long time and have anything you'd love to add to this, feel free to message me and let me know. I'd love to talk to you more about it.
Chime in.
Yeah, chime in. Let us know how you celebrate. But anyway, on the pagan calendar, or the like, pagan, Celtic, the whole kit and caboodle. The holiday Beltane, which has the meaning bright fire, is directly across from Samhain, which of course is Halloween for us now. And Beltane is often thought of as kind of the obviously it's like, again, directly across from Samhain, kind of the other time of the year where the veil is also thinning. And I think we don't obviously culturally as Westerners, we don't think as much like about this time of year as being slightly spooky, but it definitely is. So where Samhain is thought of as being like, the time where everything starts to die and go dormant, and the kind of dying off for the year and starting into winter, Beltane is kind of the the pastel goth twin
Nice.
of Samhain, and this is thought of as the time of year where everything is blossoming, coming back to life, reawakening. It's very specifically kind of linked to fertility and the earth coming back, being reborn.
Hot.
Hot. Now, I will say, I think there's been a lot of misconceptions in the last couple of years, because obviously Beltane would be today that we're recording, which is May 1st,
May Day.
or May Day. And certain films that I have great respect for, Midsummer, have made some misconceptions about some people's culture and how things were celebrated. I think they used some basics in there that are definitely correct, but they exaggerated it for film.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Swedish death cult, so it's not the way that the average person probably celebrates their holidays.
That is, and actually I was going to talk about how I'm going to celebrate, and that is actually by committing ritual sacrifice.
There
but
you
that's
go.
Just me.
That's my personal choice.
That's just my family's tradition. It has nothing to do with paganism. No, but yeah, so Beltane has Celtic roots, and the original story is that the horned god, who kind of is the what's it called, personification of winter, He sees the May Queen, and she's this lovely maiden. She's all floral and beautiful and earth energy. And he wants to be with her, but he realizes that in order to do so, he's got some changes to make.
Mm.
She doesn't want a horned winter man.
Men gotta
So
go to therapy.
yeah, he needs to see his therapist multiple times before she's interested. So they kind of go on this round and round, and he kind of is gonna like give up his life, and then she in turn gives him a life energy that kind of brings him back in this new form as the Green Man, and
Mm.
they're then able to be together. So you'll often see, both in folklore and in uh, modern day festivals, this depiction of the May Queen and the Green Man, and Beltane is really kind of their story. So um, that is often, we'll get into that a bit more later, but that's often depicted in some form during festivals. Fire is also a huge part of the Beltane festival. It's supposed to, represent the like the growing power of the sun's light as we start to move into summer. And Beltane really marks the point where summer's starting. School's out for the summer. And some of the earliest recorded mentions of Beltane mention, like, I don't know why it's not funny, but I think if it is, I think it's funny. Mention men driving cattle back and forth between two bonfires.
All right.
Yeah, and like using the smoke basically as a magical means of like cleansing the cattle and protecting them from disease before they were like driven out to their summer pastures for the remainder of the summertime.
Those cows were just like, "What are we doing,
I
man?
like. I think
What is this about?"
that's why I think it's so funny. The cattle were like, what? And like, probably just, smoke. Like, they're trying to protect them, like smoke inhalation. Just, sheer exhaustion from being driven back and forth between two fires. Uh, but anyway, whatever works. And then people would also gather around the Belfires, throwing like oats and grain into the fire to bring like prosperity for their families and again to protect their livestock. And then what I think is just really wild is that it was really common for people to hop over the Belfire.
There you
um,
go.
as kind of a symbol of restarting and cleansing. I These are large fires. Like it's a full, and there were a lot of mentions about people quote jumping over the Belfire. Now I don't know if that means like, Jimmy's friend got like a torch and then like held it while Jimmy jumped
Right, yeah,
over
it's like,
it.
is it a symbolic Belfire or like a
Or
full-on fire?
right, because then they do also like, this actually I think is really cool. They would like go through and extinguish the fires in the town, like, if people have torches lighting their way or whatever, and they would relight them from the Belfire
Oh,
in
that's
that
nice.
night to kind of, bring in the new energy, kind of usher out the old, bring in the new. So it's my understanding, if I'm understanding correctly, that any fire lit off the Belfire bonfire is the Belfire.
Yes.
So hopefully they're jumping over a much smaller fire. I get tickled thinking about somebody like taking a evil Knievel like running leap
Right? And
over
I'm trying to think of if you would like long jump it or if you would like with like the high jump where you just
pole
kind of like
vaulting.
run up and like fling yourself bodily. Like I
Pole
feel
vaulting.
like that might be your best option.
I think so. That makes sense to me. But yeah, like I said, this festival has a lot to do with fertility, and not so much. I mean, it can be with the like human fertility, but a lot of it has to do with bringing like the fertility back to the earth.
Yeah.
And so this is I want to get into this. So the maypole,
Maple.
uh, maypole, maple. If you don't, it sounds like I'm saying maple. The maypole, if you don't know, is like a large pole with ribbons coming off of it, and people will grab the ribbon and like dance around the maypole so that the ribbons wrap around the pole. Uh, I'm wondering if this is an experience other people. Did you do this in gym class?
Oh, I don't. It sounds vaguely familiar. I'm trying to remember if we actually did it. This is also so like the maypole is definitely like a thing. I'm not sure if it's only for Beltane or if it's all year round, like in Germany. So I
Right.
remember at a lot of like German cultural events I would be at, there would be like a representative maypole.
Well,
So I
because
might.
Milwaukee, right? Y'all are very
Yep. We
German.
have a lot of German stuff going on. So
You have
I.
the Krampusnacht, you have the maypole.
Yep. Yeah, and it was definitely not at Beltane that we had it, so I don't know if that was just like a here's a thing that they do at some point in Germany or if in Germany they actually do it at other points of the year because this would have been like in the summer.
Yeah, and there is like actually Miranda, shout out to Miranda, spooky little Halloween, just sent out one of her little tricks and treats
Yes.
email, um, talking about Hexennacht, which
Yes.
and talking about like the German version of Beltane, basically. And yeah, they're yeah definitely they also are doing the maple. It's very Europe in general. I think a lot of countries in Europe
Yeah, for sure.
observe this. Um, but yeah, cover your children's ears. No, I'm kidding. The maple basically is more or less supposed to symbolize the male energy. It's a long pole protruding from the earth, which is supposed to represent the feminine energy of kind of the earth as kind of the womb of which everything is born out of. And then yeah, you dance around the
And then
pole
we
with
tie
your
it up with ribbons
and then we tie it
like
up with
you do.
ribbons. um and yeah, but I have this very oh, I guess I didn't get back to this. I have a very
Yes.
distinct memory of doing this in gym class when I in elementary school. I mean, when I was like I want to say like in third grade, probably. And I don't know why that's a very formative memory of like me and all my classmates. But now, like knowing what that is, I'm like, why were we doing that?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely remember reading a book that had like a diagram of like how to like weave the ribbons and
How to
stuff
maypole.
on the maypole. And I remember, and like, of course, it was, I was a child and the book was just like, this is a celebration of spring. No further
Right.
information needed. I'm like, all right.
No further information needed. Yeah, and I've seen some things that talk I don't know that to be completely accurate, but I've seen some things that talk about like the different colors of the ribbons, meaning different like representing different aspects of
Ooh.
Beltane. But I don't know that to be 100% factual information. So that's I don't have any more information on that, but I thought it was like, oh, interesting. But anyway, so the thing I think is really cool that's happening right now, Beltane Fire Festival. So that this got brought back, well, I guess resurrected kind of in 1988. This group in Edinburgh, Scotland, um, started a like Beltane Fire Festival that is a big like annual event, and it's like an arts and drama event where
Ooh.
they like I mean they go all out, like have a May Queen, and like this is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning, like the representation of the May Queen and the Green Man, and they do a like big reenactment of the story. And because it's a fire festival, they have like people who I don't know what it's called, but like twirling, batons of
Oh, yeah.
fire, and fire eaters, and all these really incredible performers and artists doing just wild stuff. Very, very cool. But they haven't done it the last couple of years because of COVID. And actually, last night they had it again for the first time in 2 years. And we will definitely share some photos of the fire festival when we post on Instagram for this episode. They it just looks so incredibly beautiful. I would love to experience that at some point.
Mm.
Um, But yeah, I think it's just really cool that they are kind of keeping that tradition alive in a modern way where people can come experience it in a way that I think maybe isn't as taboo as some people might, you know,
Yeah.
think it to be. Just in a really cool spectacle type way. And I don't know, I'm sure other people maybe have different feelings about it, but I think it looks really cool and beautiful. um, but yeah, if you cannot attend the Beltane Fire Festival in Edinburgh and you have interest in, you know, celebrating, I would say you can celebrate into this week as you listen to this, bringing back the sun and the summer. Uh, some things that people do and that I have done in the past. A great thing to do is have a picnic, and you can, eat foods from the earth, fruits, vegetables, oats, um, lots of milk and cheeses, because again,
Nice.
fertility and how the milk comes. Uh, planting like seeds in your garden, or food or flowers, whatever you. I did some gardening today. That was my little celebration for myself. um Making, like, a lot of people make flower crowns for this, um out of like wildflowers and stuff. I have never successfully made a flower crown, like been able to weave them together.
Yeah. It's
um
tough.
Also, you can this is I am not saying you should do this. This is not, I am not recommending this, but you can jump over a candle.
There you go.
This is one of the highly suggested things, is to jump over a candle. I Safely find a way to do that safely. Don't wear anything flowy.
No
Um,
fringe.
no fringe, no capes. Or then back to modern day, celebrate halfway to Halloween, because it does fall. This is the weekend that our community kind of recognizes as halfway to Halloween, because, in my opinion, it is connected to this history as to why we recognize it at this time, because we literally are on the mirror end of Samhain right now.
Yep.
So yeah, celebrate halfway to Halloween. Decorate your mantle or something. Pastel Halloween is a great way to go right now, because it's the spring colors, but make it spooky. Watch yourself a scary movie. Or actually, here's what I want you to do: go support a small business that makes Halloween stuff.
There you go. That's always a good way to
go
celebrate.
go buy something from a small business before we get into big box season. But yeah, I just wanted to. I know this one was kind of a short one, but I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the history behind this, because it really is I think all the pagan roots of kind of why we celebrate Halloween and other holidays are really beautiful. And a lot of it is so based in the earth and the seasons and what it gives to us. And I love that. I think we should all learn our history in that regard.
Yes, it is. It is nice. I wish it felt a little bit more like spring and not October outside. Today in my life, it's cold again in Wisconsin,
Is
but
it really? It's actually beautiful today in Kansas City. It's 73 degrees and like sunny. It's really beautiful here today. So I felt like it's happening.
I know
I'll send
everyone's been
a
like, "Oh, the flower crowns, the bonfires," and I'm like, "It's 50 degrees."
You're like the snow that we had last week. I'll package up some sunshine and send it your way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you all so much for listening and hearing out what I had to say today. I appreciate you. If you like what we do here, we would love for you to tell us about it and leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we might just read it right here, live on Ghouls Night In. I believe we have one to read today, don't we, Penny?
We sure do. This is a 5-star review from Kelsey Chapstick, who says, "Best spooky pod out there."
Heck
I've been
yeah.
Heck yeah. She says, I've been following Midge for a long time and naturally wanted to check out this podcast the second it dropped. I've listened to every episode and especially enjoyed the recent Vincent Price one as a fellow spooky queer and campy kooky stan of all things mysteriously bisexual. Thank you to both of you for making such a fun and educational way to spend a quick break in my workday. And if you ever end up in NYC and need a spooky tour guide, hit a ghoul up. XO Kelsey, who is at Lucretia Borgia on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Oh, hi Kelsey. That's awesome. I Y'all really loved that Vincent Price episode. I'm so glad.
Hell yeah. Hell
We
yeah,
had
Vincent Price.
Yeah, I think that's probably like one of the highest as far as just people reaching out to us to tell us how much they liked an episode. People were really excited about that, and that makes me really happy because he's such an icon. We again, Penny and I were joking after she edited that we should have taken a shot every time we said icon in that episode.
Oh, it's just so true. It's so true.
Well, thank you so much, Kelsey. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the podcast. We sure do enjoy making it for you. If you would like to see more content from the pod, you can follow us over on Instagram at Ghouls Night in Pod. And then, of course, if you're looking for me, you can find me across all platforms at Midge Munster.
And you can find me at Penny Snark.
And that's all we have for you today. So until next time,
Goodbye.
goodbye.